A very pleasant good afternoon as we welcome you into the Lion Country Key, a Goon and Ironhead show. Your old pal Ironhead here at Quaker Steak and Lube. The dear Goon will be checking in momentarily from on location, on assignment today. And we'll get into the ongoing coaching search for the replacement for James Franklin. We'll talk a little bit about Penn State and how it is using the bye week. According to interim head coach Terry Smith, the Nittany Lions are implementing a new system offensively, and sounds like the freshman wide receivers will be a significant part, substantial part of that offensive plan moving forward, which I think is fine. I also think they still have to get this offensive line figured out a little bit. And one of the things I've been talking just with bunch of different people, just casual conversation in and around the area. And certainly this team and what has happened this year is just a topic of conversation. And I do think in talking with folks, and again, it's all we're surmising, which is all anybody can do. One of the things that I do think has come into play, and we've touched on it a little bit, Goon has talked about it often, that you get to that fourth or fifth year, fourth or fifth year of college, and you're kind of ready to be done with that particular phase of your life. And, we've seen it in wrestling quite a bit, where coming off of the COVID, especially, you had guys, those sixth or seventh years, and it's like, man, they're going to be phenomenal. And yeah, that a lot of times they were worse than they were earlier in their career. Rarely did you my do better. Those were the exceptions rather than the rules. And I do think, my best guess, surmising here, is I do think some of the players that came back, maybe it was not well served, and not as well served as many of us following the program and those within the program were thinking it would be. And I don't mean that they even perceived that, hey, I'm done, I've already checked out, but I'm coming back just for the payday. I'm not. I mean, there might be some of that too, but I'm talking more so, it just is a grind. College sports is a grind, and it's different. I've talked to enough of these guys that when you get to the next level, if you're good enough and fortunate enough to go to that next level, it's different there, in part because, yeah, it's just a flat out job, but also it is a situation where you then are able to formulate your day around it. You can't do that in college. You still have classes. You have all of the things, the social component is still a big part of the equation at the collegiate level. And it just, I think, managing the season, the expectations and all of that can take a toll on you. And my suspicion is it did take a toll on at least some of the guys that returned, whether they're even aware of it or not. It's like, yeah, you know what? I've been doing this a long time, coming back mentally, physically. Maybe the body doesn't respond as well. Sounds like we've had some guys maybe a little more banged up than we were even led to believe during the course of the year. So, again, all of those things, I think, certainly you factor that in with the James Franklin contract situation over the summer. I think, again, it's a little bit here, a little bit there, and all of a sudden this thing gets pretty well derailed, and now we'll see if they can get it back on the rails. As the dear Goon joins us. Goon, how are we doing here this afternoon?
What's going on, Ed? How you doing, brother?
We're just living the dream. It's how we do.
Right.
You're coming in hot. I'm just trying
Gotta do what we gotta do, baby.
Yes, indeed. And I don't know, Goon. Have you given any more thought as to how or why this thing went as haywire as it did for the football team this season.
Jeff, I do not know. I mean, I do. I mean, my mind, I'm blanking right now because I'm like, again, we should have seen it, but it's like we should have seen what was going to happen after the first 3 games. That that's where we were going to play. We were not going to be competitive against other people. But it was just like, okay, well, we weren't ready. We were just, not jumped up, pumped up for those first 3 games. And then the Oregon game comes upon us, and we play like crap for 3 quarters, and then we play outstanding for the 4th quarter and the overtime. And it's like, okay, we're back. But, like, this is literally, like you have said multiple times, this is the same team that was 1 or 2 plays away from playing for a national title last year. I mean, Tyler Warren and Abdul Carter are absolute studs. They're probably going to win the offensive and defensive rookies of the year.
Could be. Yep.
That is a lot to replace, and I don't think that we, as fans, as broadcasters, or whatever, thought there was going to be that big of a drop-off. I mean, Dennis D. Sutton is not Abdul Carter. You know what I mean? Like, we thought, like, after last year, the performance he gave late in that year, and especially the Notre Dame game, how well he played, that he was just going to set up and jump in Abdul Carter's spot. So, I mean, he's had problems getting to the quarterback, whether he's being held or not, who knows. But against Oregon, it seemed like he was. But I am still baffled about the performance of this team and the staff and everybody involved with it. From the start of the season on, I'm just completely miffed. Again, I don't want to beat a dead horse. I've been around it. I've been there in 1992 when, there was nothing to play for, and you had a loaded team, and a lot of guys were worried about their futures. That's what I'm worried about. But I don't think Terry will allow that. Like I've said before, if a guy's not out there giving effort and expects to go high in the draft, the NFL will notice that. So I'm not worried about guys not playing or going half speed. I'm more worried about guys not doing homework, not doing their due diligence in preparing for games and just going out there and saying, okay, well, we lost. It is what it is. I got 4 more games so I can go to the NFL. So I hope that's not what's going to happen. I hope that these guys rally around Terry, rally around their teammates, their friends, their school, their university, all of that stuff. Am I living a pipe dream? I don't know. I would like to think that that is what's going to happen, but we shall see. I think that the bye week is a great time for this team. Terry has 2 weeks to work and manipulate his guys and see what he wants to do. They're going to recognize what he wants to do as the head coach. He's not going to be James Franklin. He's going to be Terry Smith. Our guys have had 2 weeks now to get under his. They have 2 weeks. They have a bye week and then the Ohio State game, and they're going to roll it out there. So, the first thing I asked Terry when I saw him, and I said, "How much time did you give the guys off?" And that was my biggest thing. I said, these guys have been through the ringer.
Yeah,
this team, they have really, really gone through a lot in these 7 games. With all the losses, the coach getting fired, Nick Dawkins saying it was like we feel guilty because it feels like we didn't play well enough and we got our coach fired. So these guys are stressed and really, really maxed out. And Terry said I gave him some time off. He gave him a day or 2 off, clear your heads, like Joe Paterno would have done it too. And that's what I said to him. I said that's a very big Joe Pa thing to do right there, and that is just get away, away. Have a day, an extra day that you didn't think you were going to have. Just go home, relax, get your mind off of football for a day or 2, and come back ready to go. That's all we could do.
Yeah, and I think Katron Allen, said, hey, listen, I'm going to keep playing hard primarily because I love football. I I like having the opportunity to go out there and play the sport I love. And I think, what's going to be tough, I think, Goon, is this team could play its best football of the season. They could rally. They could do everything right, change it around, and run this losing streak to 6 games very easily, right? They could for sure play their best football against Ohio State and Indiana and still come up short in both of those games. Right now, those two teams, if you haven't been paying attention, rank 1 and 2 in the country. So, if you want to dream huge and think that Penn State can knock off Ohio State, then the potential would be there for Penn State to face the number 1 ranked team in the country in back-to-back games, because Indiana presumably would then be number 1 when it comes into Happy Valley as right now, again, it's the number 2 team. So this is what I think is going to be especially challenging, Goon, is can you buy in if you're on that team, if you're on the roster? I think the fans will be able to buy in a little easier than the kids on the roster, even, that, hey, whoa, yeah, this looks different, this feels different, this is heading in a good direction. If there's back-to-back losses, and now you've lost 6 games, because they've been in, obviously, each of the first 4 losses of the season. Truthfully, I think it'll be remarkable if they are in the game with Ohio State. I'm not sure what your thoughts are, even if they rally, they do all of that. Goon, I just think Ohio State is playing at an exceptionally high level. And even if they come out motivated and play their best, I don't know that defense can hang with Ohio State in either phase, the running game or the passing game. Even if it's playing inspired, spirited football, that offensive line looks really good for Ohio State. Their quarterback is putting together one of the all-time great seasons by a college quarterback, period, let alone a freshman. And so I don't know. Part of me is thinking, well, Penn State always plays Ohio State close, so that's you just kind of know that, and they'll have some confidence in that locker room that they can do that. On the other hand, I've seen what has happened with these 2 lines, and I know they're revamping things offensively. I don't care what the play calls are. I don't care what it is you're trying to achieve. If you can't maintain the line, you can't give your quarterback some time, you can't give your running back some holes, and defensively you can't hold up at the line of scrimmage and put some pressure on the quarterback and keep those offensive linemen occupied so your linebackers can go make some tackles for you in the running game. All the spirit in the world and all the rallying isn't going to do much. And I don't know. I tend to be an optimist. I don't like the matchups here against either Ohio State or Indiana, just in terms of personnel, based on what we've seen to this point this season from both of those opponents and Penn State.
Yeah. For us to beat either one of them, we got to play a very, very, very good game, and they need to be off. We've talked about us being off a couple games this year, but maybe we were just not that good. But you know how good teams have a bad game every once in a while. We need that to have it with one of those 2 teams, and we need to go out there with the attitude like, hey, we're going to shock the world here. And looking at how the guys played against Iowa, that's Terry. Terry is very, very good at getting guys' spirits up and getting ready to play. I don't have a worry about our guys being up to play against Ohio State at Ohio State, but it is a horribly tough place to play. We got to put in the Jim Knowles aspect to it now, too. I mean, there's a little bit of animosity there from Ohio State, I believe.
Sure.
They're going to want a piece of his tail for leaving, but, how many guys would say I'm not going to leave for that kind of pay raise, So, I mean, they're the ones who were, the Ohio State fans like, oh, we didn't want him anyway. You guys have him, take him. We didn't like him, but whatever. He led you to a national title last year, so let's chill out on that. So, yeah, but let's go back to what Ryan Day, and he left Ryan Day's staff to come join our staff. So, I wonder if there's going to be any kind of animosity and any kind of revenge from the Ohio State team on Jim, Coach Knowles. And if there is, we better be ready for that. And you know what? They might be trying too hard to beat us by 100 points and not having their head straight and their defense not playing well. And, we may go out there and run the ball and play well. And, stranger things have happened. Last time we won out there, Landon Tangwell said it in his show, the last time we won out there was with an interim coach, and that was Tom Bradley. So we have an interim coach right now with Terry Smith. So we shall see, man. I hope to God it's all good. I mean, having met with Terry today, I wish I had asked what the weekend plan was for the team, but I didn't want to get too far into that. I didn't want to come off too media-like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I still wanted to keep the two brother-like friendship, teammates and stuff like that. So it is interesting. I hope he gives them Friday, Saturday, and they start back up Sunday normally. So just go home. I mean, we've talked about bye weeks in the past and how actually James was, we don't play well after bye weeks. So maybe Terry Smith plays a little bit better than the James Franklin coach team after a bye.
Yeah, I am curious to see what the new look offense looks like, and I'm also curious to see, Goon, what they do defensively from a scheme standpoint to try to change things up here against Ohio State. They have to figure out a way to and. I don't know if it's just bringing in somebody from the secondary to help out with the linebacking core or exactly what it is, but they have to do a better job up the middle against the run, or Ohio State again is just going to have its way with this Penn State team on that side of the ball, and then offensively. Again, I'll be curious to see what the scheme is. It's just, I think it is tough when you have an offensive line that is struggling to the degree that Penn State's is, and now you have a quarterback who, I'm not inside his head, obviously, but I can't imagine that the confidence is sky high right now, coming off a no touchdown, 2 interception performance in your first game as a starter. And now you're facing a defense again on the road that is, I think, substantially better. We might be able to argue that, but regardless, it's going to be another very good defense that Ohio State is going to present. So that, I'm all for changing things up, seeing if you can get some of these younger guys involved in the passing game. But if you're relying on just quick hitters, and it sounds like that is not what they want to rely on, Terry Smith said they recognize they've got to get the downfield passing game going. The problem is, to get that going, you need either effective play action, and to have effective play action, you have to have a consistent running game, or you have to have confidence that offensive line is going to hold up when you drop back. And I'm not saying that either of those are impossibilities. I'm just telling you, more than halfway through the season, we haven't seen strong indications of either of those things occurring. Katron Allen's numbers notwithstanding, and he had good numbers against Iowa, and has had good numbers all season long. I don't know. For Penn State they're going to have to take their shots downfield, but they also are going to have to be able to sustain drives. Like the recipe, if there is a recipe for Penn State to beat Ohio State now, it is going to be getting some long sustained drives going. And again, I think it's going to be a combination of a quick hitting passing game, but you've got to get that running game going where you have some confidence in it. And its ability to get the tough yards when you need it. And that, I think, is just going to be a tall order for this team that we've seen through 7 games against this Ohio State defense and what we've seen from it to this stage of the season.
You ask me a lot, but I'm going to ask you, what do you think happened to the offensive line this year?
So
I mean, the same 5 guys.
Yeah, I think there's and I don't know. Again, this is me speculating, so this is zero inside information. But I've been thinking about it a lot with and have had some different conversations, and I do think one of the things that is came into play. First of all, I think there's probably some guys that are a little more banged up. I mean, Cooper Cousins, obviously, we know about. I'm just wondering if we've had some guys not playing at 100%, and or we have some of these veterans, and I talked about it right before you came on, Goon, but you've talked about you were ready to move on. That senior year was like, yep, this is time. And I'm just wondering that they came back with the idea of this being a special opportunity, special team. And I'm just wondering if some of them, and again, I don't have anybody specific in mind. I'm just wondering if some of them, again, the college sports scene, while it is really cool, and I'm talking from the athlete standpoint, right? Like it's got to be a heck of an experience to be able to be lauded, praised, be the big man on campus and all of that stuff. I think that's all cool stuff. It also is mentally and physically, it does take a toll. And last season was a longer season than what these guys have been used to, and therefore a shorter off season, if you will. And I just wonder if the physical and mental toll of a long career just caught up with some of these guys. And it's like, yeah, you know what? It's just not. And again, I don't know that it's even a conscientious thing. Although I think then you throw in, but it's just, all right. Yeah, my body is kind of beat up a little bit. My mind is, man, it takes a toll going through, again, an entire college career, going through all of the off-season practices, going through all of the games during the season. It does. It takes a toll on you. And then you factor in the money component. And I think human nature is, yeah, you get a little content. And again, I'm not saying I'm right on any of this stuff. Maybe all of this is hogwash, but yeah, I have to think that at least for a couple of guys, they did get a little complacent. Maybe the motivation wasn't quite there in the weight room, in the drills, the off-season drills that it was before. Maybe they're doing the exact same things, but maybe there's just not quite the same passion, quite the same energy being brought. And again, I don't know any of this to be true, but something clearly happened. And to me, all right, some of these guys coming back, maybe their bodies and minds just they needed the break. They were done. Maybe the money component for some of them, it's like, yeah, you know what? I'm just not quite as motivated. Maybe it is just as simple as, they moved, Donko out. You have Shanahan coming in. Maybe it just is, the guys aren't as comfortable in the spots that they're in. I don't know. Something obviously did not click, and it was evident in the Nevada game, right, Goon? I mean, we were saying through those first 3 games. Now we thought maybe it would click with Oregon, but like they just from day one this season, it just has not looked the way we were expecting it to look. And through 7 games, we've just not, maybe for one quarter, maybe against Oregon, it looked like you were hoping, but I'm not even sure there it was necessarily, man, this thing looks like, all right, the offensive line looks dominant. The quarterback And again, I'm talking when Aller was in there. The quarterback looks like the guy that could be a Heisman contender. The running backs look like they could be high. I mean, none of that has, Katron Allen has looked very good. Outside of that, I don't know, even with the tight ends, Goon, and I think the blocking from Dinkins, if I was to single out something that was spectacular through the first 7 games, I think Khalil Dinkins' blocking has been spectacular.
Yep.
But Luke Reynolds has dropped some balls, and I'm not coming down on any of these guys. I'm just saying it just has not looked right. None of them have looked like, all right, man, like this is the way this thing should be going. None of it has looked that way from game 1 and through game 7. And I don't know, can they catch that lightning in a bottle now and somehow turn it on to that degree where you're getting wins against Ohio State and Indiana? I think that's unlikely. Can it look better, and can they be competitive in these games? That I think to me is the question. Can they, I see Ohio State's a 17.5-point favorite. That sounds about right to me based on what we've seen from both of those teams to this stage of the season.
It's unbelievable to think about that. Unbelievable, because it was 4.5. It was a 4.5-point line to open the season up. This is how far it's come. It's the Drew Aller thing, how we're playing, all of that. So I think you hit on a couple things there with the offensive line that got me going a little bit, and that is Notre Dame and Ohio State played 16 games. We played 16 games. Notre Dame's offensive line, most of them went to the NFL. They didn't return a lot of their offensive line from last year. I don't think Ohio State lost that much, or did they? I'll have to look into it. But you saying us playing 16 games and our bodies aren't used to it, yeah, because we are older guys, and that is a long season. The off season and all that. Maybe they never had a chance to recover or this or that. I mean, I'll never be able to put my finger on it. I just don't know. I mean, it's the same guys that we had last year. Maybe Donka going from right tackle to right guard, which I said he doesn't seem to be comfortable there, but it is what it is. Cousins not being available to play. I get it. I understand Donka's going to play right guard. But it's tough to play that at that height. We've talked about that before. I mean, you're going against guys who are 4, 5, 6 inches shorter than you. They're going to have leverage on you instantly. So, because I'm saying how tall Donka and Rucci are, it is the ultimate $1 billion question. Is that what happened here? What happened to our offensive line, and specifically our defensive line has not played well at all this year? Yeah, either. Yeah. Again, it goes back to there is reports that the physical stature of our team doesn't match up to the defense that Jim Knowles is trying to run. Yeah. And that is a big thing. That's a huge thing. If he wants bigger bodies, like Nick Saban was talking about it last week, that he and Georgia with Kirby Smart, they ran a 34. So you got to have blocks. You got to have Casey Hamptons in the middle.
Right.
Those type of bodies. Yep. You got to have linebackers who can take some people on, because there's a lot of guys coming at them. And then your outside guys are your pass rushers and your game changers. I don't think if we're playing that type of defense, which we're not, we're playing a 43, we're not getting the rush from the defensive and the push from the inside, and our linebackers are too small and they're getting crushed.
Thank you.
And Iowa was, you could just look at it, Iowa was just running the ball down our throats with the running backs and the quarterback specifically. And I don't know if I mentioned this on Tuesday or not, but wasn't there always a stigma with Ohio State against dual threat quarterbacks? Wasn't there always that issue?
Yes, but I think we talked about this. There's like what teams or defenses out there are just fantastically consistent against. I mean, there's a reason the dual threat quarterback is such a thing. It's really hard to stop a dual threat quarterback, especially if you have a good offensive line, good receivers, a good running back, right? I mean, I don't think there's a defense out there. I don't know. Maybe you can think of one. I'm not aware of a defense that's like, oh boy, dual threat quarterback. They're not going to have a chance against that defense. Like, that's just not.
Well, I guess I shouldn't say dual threat. I should say multi-purpose offense. An offense that can throw and run the ball. Maybe I should go down that route. Well, Drew Allen is not a running quarterback. Defense is going to sit back and wait for him and let the pass rush get to him. A lot of the quarterbacks in the Big Ten are drop back guys, and if there are a heavy run team, I mean, Tom Bradley would tell you from back in the day, it's easy to stop a one-faceted team. If they're a passing team and you know that that's all they're going to do, you can sit back and design. But if you have a heavy run team, you can load up and make them throw the ball. So maybe that's what I'm getting at right there, is that teams who can run and pass the ball at the same with a well balanced offense has been, but then they're called great teams. So I mean, we could be talking about this for the next 9 years, 10 years. I mean, what in the hell happened here? What happened to this season? And there's so many things that go into it. I'll start with what Terry said, and that was the balls just not bouncing our way. Okay, I can go with that one. But you know what? There's going to be a game where the ball's going to bounce our way, and maybe that's Ohio State. Maybe that's Indiana. Like I tell you all the time, Joe Paterno would say, hey, it's not going our way today. Maybe they have one of those nights or one of those days, and we pounce on them. I don't know. Maybe we can be that team to go out there and do something like that. Do I think that can happen? Probably not. But I am going to go out. I will be at both games cheering these guys on, and that's my guys, man. I got to live and die with them.
And listen, it's sports. Crazy things do happen. I mean, that is just a fact. Take a break here. We are back with much more. It is the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show here on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox.
No one likes making trips to the gas station. Well, Lion Country Kia can help. If you're tired of going to the gas station all the time, Lion Country Kia can help with the 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid. Save now with 2.9% APR financing for up to 48 months. And get $500 Kia Finance bonus cash. There's 14 available that get 38 MPG combined. Say goodbye to all those pump visits. 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrids start at just $32,285. And be sure to check out the full Kia lineup too. And their selection of certified pre-owned Kias. Remember, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Ease that pain at the pump with a 38 MPG combined 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid from Lion Country Kia, 1334 Drivable Street off Shiloh Road behind Sam's Club, State College.
Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things. Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS, once again.
The Fox, your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority. WFXS America.
98.7. The Fox. State College. The Goon and Ironhead.
And back here on this Thursday afternoon, we are aware we're having some transmitter issues with the radio station, so we do have folks working to try to get the system back up and running. In the meantime, streaming both online with our YouTube channel and also with the audio on the radio station's website, 987thefox.info. A couple of things just going through the chat here this afternoon, and appreciate folks chiming in. Sally writes, perhaps another supported pep rally to show our belief in our team. Not a bad idea. It has to be trying, Goon. I know we talk about, hey, you only get so many opportunities and play this out and all of that. And yep, I'm on board with all of it. Also, I mean, these guys came back overwhelmingly, the guys that had the chance to move on to win a national title. You're 3-4 here. Even if you win out, you're nowhere near what you were hoping this season would be. And so I do think that has to be taking a toll. James Franklin being fired is taking a toll. On the recruiting front, I've had a couple people ask. I think you need, if you're a Penn State fan right now, you need to just not pay attention to it. That until the new coach comes in, you're committing. Yes, Penn State fans, commit to the program. When you don't know who the coach is, that makes it hard. Maybe it's a coach that you don't like, that you won't get along with. I just, obviously the hope is they'll get the right coach, and some of these guys will come back, but they're going to go out and get a bunch of guys that fit whatever the new coach is looking for. Both in terms of scheme and, character type of player, all of that stuff. Right now, I don't think the recruiting element can be a concern. I'm not saying Terry Smith and the coaches aren't concerned about it. I'm just telling you, even if they were to go out and get a bunch of commits right now, Goon, it's going to be meaningless until the new coach comes in and tells you what this is going to look like. And that's going to be the case for the kids that are in the program too. It's just all of that is up in the air, and it's going to remain such, and that's an uncomfortable spot for everybody to be in. I understand that, but it's just the reality of the situation. Anything you want to add on that, Goon?
The recruiting thing is, you're exactly right. We cannot be worried about that right now because that's not really a thing for us. We can't be worried about that. Terry is going out. The coaches are out recruiting as usual, making their stops and seeing kids for their future and stuff like that. You got to go ahead with thinking hey, I'm going to be coaching Penn State forever. So that's how these guys have to act and have to go out and do their jobs. It's their professional job to do that. And they are. These guys are very professional. But as fans, we can't sit here and say, well, these kids are going to make a decision and then they're going to move away or they're going to drop their commitment. But then when we sign a new coach, they might like the coach and then they might come back. So There's nothing we can do about it right now. All we're going to do is lose people. We're not going to gain anybody, in my opinion, but we will lose people. And are they gone forever? I don't know. Is it just gone? They're reopening their recruitment until we get our new head coach and figure out what's going on. And I don't know when that is. I mean, well, there's a question for you. If it was somebody who's not coaching, do you think they'd be hired by now, Jeff?
That is a good question. I don't know. I think if it was somebody that definitively wanted to take the job and had no questions, no reservations, and that it was clearly the person that Pat Kraft wanted, like this is our A1, our number one go-to guy, probably, right? So again, I've thought all along, I certainly think worth the phone calls, and great if they decide to take it. I don't see either Nick Saban or Urban Meyer, and I'm not sure who else would be out there that you would
Gruden
say. Gruden seems even less likely to me at the college scene. I mean, I've seen that,
I'm with
speculation. I just don't think he is wired for this college. I don't think many guys are, by the way, for this college coaching lifestyle.
You are right.
Gruden, I think, wants to get back into coaching. I don't think this is with the combination of pressure, demands, and then all of the different elements that now are in play in college football. I just don't think any of those guys are all that interested, even if Penn State throws. And that's the other part of the equation, Goon, is how crazy is Penn State going to get here on the money front? Is Pat Kraft going to? I mean, they already. I know folks are. Well, this is just what you have to do. They are in debt, folks. Like I'm not sure if people are quite comprehending the degree to which Penn State athletics is in debt right now, and when you throw in, and I don't know. I mean, I'm reading everything that everybody else is. I don't know. With any certainty how the payment that is owed James Franklin is being handled, or who and how the payments for the new coach and coaches are going to be handled. But I mean, like, is Penn State going to go $15 million a year on the new guy because that's what we have to do? Or again, it's on one hand, it's like, well, you're telling me they're not going to outbid what Indiana gives for its coach, Indiana? And on the other hand, are to do that now, you'd have to be a top two in the moment anyway, top two paying job. Well, is Penn State ready to do that? I'm not sure I even want them to do that. Yeah. But that's another, it's just a question. It is going to be interesting, and I'm curious to see. All right, what kind of money? It's going to be big money. My guess is $10 million plus a year is going to be going out to the next head coach, and then that's the other part of it. Well, how long of a deal is it? Is it a 5 or 6 year deal? Presumably, it will not be a 10-year deal, but I don't think it can be a 3-year deal either to make it attractive for the type of guy that Penn State is going to be going after here.
Yeah, I think James will be coaching somewhere next year. I truly do. The Virginia Tech thing looks like it's a viable option. The Florida State, I think. I think he I think he goes to the ACC. I really do. I don't think he wants to go back to the SEC. We could argue that. That's a great. I don't know with all those jobs that are going to open up in the SEC, LSU, Arkansas, Florida. I can see Florida being a thing, but do you see an SEC fan base getting jacked up if they hire James Franklin? I just don't see it because they're going to sit there and they're going to go right back to he's 4-21 versus the top 5 and all that crap. You know what I mean? It's going to come right up there, and their fan bases are going to be happy. If he goes to an ACC school like a Virginia Tech, he would be, oh my God, this is a great hire for us. Let's do this. I truly believe that. I think that Florida State is an option, but they may go down like the route of the SEC and not be too happy if it's James Franklin. But I am sure that James will coach next year. So what you just said about the settlement and the payout is, what is the payout? Is it just going to be a yearly thing? But the way they have it set up is that if he gets a $7 million job from Virginia Tech, then we're only on the hook for $1 million. So is it going to be an annual thing until 2031 when that contract's over? Because if that's the case, if they gave him $58 million or $56 million or $49 million, and then he starts coaching, and then now he's got to return the money to Penn State, I don't think that's what's happening. I think it'll be an annual thing, the difference in his salary here versus where he's going to go. I think that will be paid off, or the difference will be paid off on an annual basis. So we want James Franklin to go out and get a job, as big a job as he could possibly get, and make as much money as he possibly can get for our coffers. Otherwise, if he doesn't work this year, we're in the whole $8 million, and we're paying another coach $10 million. So there's $18 million on a head coach before your staff is even put together. So, yeah, their money is a scary thing. If he doesn't work, if he does work, then it'll be okay. We're just going to go with the same budget we had going on last year. But, this is a huge, huge, huge hire for Penn State, for Pat Kraft, in every facet. Financially, if the fans are not happy with the hire and the sales of season tickets go down, then that's a problem for the athletic department, a big problem for the athletic department.
I want to get back to that in just a moment, because I have, I think, some differing thoughts from a lot of people on that. I want to get back into that in just a moment, but I do want to just go through some of the other comments from earlier. Personally, I think this is from Shane. Personally, I think Dinkins is the best tight end on the team. He'll be a draft steal. I know you two disagree. I'm not sure we necessarily disagree. I think we both think, well, I'll speak for myself. I think Luke Reynolds and Andrew Appley's ceiling is higher. But if you're asking me the best tight end right at the moment with the things that Penn State needs a tight end to do, listen, Dinkins is a really good receiver. And, he has been blocking, to me, as well as anybody on the team, more consistently than anybody on the team. So I would not disagree that he has been the best tight end.
I'm a Dinkins guy also. I mean, saying his name and saying how well he's blocking, why are we not running the ball? Why can't we run the damn ball? I mean, Dinkins is a hell of a blocker. Is our offensive line that bad and that porous? What the hell happened? Sorry.
I hear you. I'm not sure. This went back to the end of our first segment. Disagree, way lower talent that you project. I'm not exactly sure what that's referring to. Poor blocking. To add to your guys' point, a dual threat quarterback turns bad plays into good plays. Plus, you get a +1 in the run game. Having a good dual threat quarterback on a good offense, right? There's not any defense that it's like guaranteed to. That's what makes that it's such a great option, is even great defenses are going to struggle to stop that, because if you put a man on him to mirror him, well, now you're down to 10 men handling the rest of the field. Now, again, it's contingent on everything else on having a good offensive line, having a good running back, good receivers, all of that. But yeah, if you have good everywhere else and you have a great dual threat quarterback, that's a wonderful place for an offense to be in, and it gives your team an excellent chance at success. Rick also asking what can be done to fix the O-line. Goon, what I mean, it's not going to be what anybody wants to hear, but I mean, really, it is just you got to keep working at it, right? It's improving the communication, making sure everybody's handling their assignments, working to improve the technique. I mean, all of those things that everybody's doing week in and week out in practices, but there's not like a magic, all right, they needed to change up the blocking scheme to this, and then everything's magically going to come together.
I mean, are we? When is the point where it's like, okay, well, let's move on from these guys and go to the younger guys? And that's the question we should be asking right now: is what are we doing? Or do we want to? I mean, both of our tackles are going to, they're all five are going. I mean, excuse me. Yeah, all five. If you include, they will all go. They're all done this year. I think one has 1 year left, but I know Cousins the only one's returning, but we know that he has a knee injury. So when is the point where are we going to start trying to get these younger guys in? Because I really haven't seen many younger guys rotating in on the offensive line to try and get some valuable snaps against the defensive ones and the starting quarterback and our receivers and our running back. So, yes, I would like to start seeing some younger guys getting some reps on Saturdays, but, I mean, when do you make that call? When do you say, okay, well, you know what? We're throwing in the towel right now, and we're going to start 4 or 5, second or first year players. I don't know. I mean, does Nick Dawkins deserve that disrespect of saying, you know what, you're not playing anymore? We're going to play a backup center now. I wouldn't do that to Nick as a coach, but you never know. I mean, we need to start worrying about our future.
Yeah. Shane says he does not think the offensive line is the problem. Singleton was the main rusher and doesn't have the vision he had from last year. And in addition, the wide receivers are not getting open, so the quarterback is holding on to the ball, screening quick passes to wide receivers and screens to the running back to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands. I think his suggestion.
Yep. So, Jeff, put Tyler Warren on this team right now, and it's the same as last year. Our wide receivers aren't getting open, but I mean, we ran the ball much better last year, much better. I'm going right back to what I said about getting the younger guys in there. Maybe, the coaches are happy with how the offensive line's been playing. I can't imagine. Maybe they are blaming the play calling, blaming the running backs, and it's a complete mystery to me, Jeff. I mean, I'm calling you Jeff. I mean, that's how serious I am right now. I mean, I'm just miffed and baffled by the whole thing. Now, I can go back to my senior year when we went through a 94 year. We returned 4 out of 5 starters, and we went 9-3. We had Bobby Ingram still. We had 2 good running backs, 2 great fullbacks.
Yeah.
We had to replace our quarterback and our tight end and our running backs and our center. It was a big difference. It went into, they were blitzing Wally a lot more than they would Kerry, and people read our offense a little bit easier. I don't know. But we did not have as good a year we did in 1995 as we did in 94. But we had the same 4 offensive linemen out there. So, again, people were miffed by that. I'm still miffed by it. It's a complete mystery to me, bro. A complete mystery of what the hell happened.
Yeah. Groundhog Day, Rick writes, Groundhog Day for the team, line, wide receiver, quarterback, and running backs. I don't know. That all looked pretty good to me last year, but for whatever reason, it just has not come together clearly this year. I want to go back before we take our next break, Goon. I do want to just talk about the next hire as head coach, because I have seen, and I think it's a pretty popular sentiment, that Penn State has to make a splash with this hire, that it can't be like the Oregon offensive coordinator whose name I'm blanking on at the moment, Will Stein. But here is my thing. What James Franklin now is getting criticized for, and I do find it interesting that he gets criticized now after the fact, but there is certainly a contingent within the fan base and maybe even within the Penn State football family that believe James Franklin was too worried about making the splash hires, that Andy Kotelnicki was the hot name, so he went out and wanted to get the hot name. Mike Yurcich was the hot name, so he went out and got the hot name. Manny Diaz was the hot name. That worked out, but and so Jim Knowles was the hot name, so he went out and got the name instead of getting the guy. I'm not sure I necessarily myself buy that. I think they were hot names because they know what they're doing. I still think Andy Kotelnicki is a really good offensive coach. I still think Jim Knowles knows what he's doing in coaching up defenses. I realize at the moment I'm in the minority of those following Penn State football in believing that, but I do think they have two really good coordinators, although I will acknowledge on both sides of the ball, this has not looked like you would expect elite coordinators to have their teams looking.
Again, one of the problems I have, and I know a lot of people did, is I always thought, is that James was meddling with the offense too much. That just seems to always been a problem, that Andy could not go out and let it go be free and let it roll, especially in big games where he would get handcuffed and James would jump in a little bit, and you could see that earlier this year. We talked about the microphone being up for defense, but down speaking to somebody with a play sheet in front of them when the offense was on the field. So I could see that where I got frustrated by that too, because it was like you hire an OC and a DC, let them do their jobs. I know you're the head coach and it's your final decision on everything. I get it. But again, like I've said before, he is a self-proclaimed micromanager. That rolls right into that scenario I just talked about of meddling with the offense and the defense. But again, maybe he just thought that he needed to do that and he couldn't help himself. But then, what did anything change last week at Iowa with James not being there, not being part of the staff? I mean, I know we did some better things starting there. I mean, we ran the ball much better than. One guy ran the ball much better than we have all year. We have a backup quarterback who threw for 85 yards and 2 interceptions and no touchdowns. I mean, you got to have a little bit more going on offense than that right there. And again, the wide receivers got to start getting open. I mean, it's Groundhog Day is a great call for this team when it comes to the wide receivers. Yeah, so again, if your guess is as good as mine of what's going on, it's just, I want to see it change. I think it's going to change. I think with the little bye week we have 2 weeks now. I think that the guys will, can listen to Kotel. They can step in more with Kotelnicki and with Knowles. And, I've heard rumors that he's running a very hard defense to understand. There's a lot of guys out there not understanding what they're doing, and that's why we're getting beat up on defense. But you can sit there and say the same thing about our offensive line. At times, it looks like we don't know what the hell we're doing out there. We're letting guys come unblocked through the line of scrimmage, and what's going on there? What are we thinking, or why? Why is our offensive line, who was so good last year, so bad right now? Again, making these mistakes that you'd make as a freshman or sophomore. So, Groundhog Day is a great call.
So going back to the coaching search, so I don't think Pat Kraft has to make a quote-unquote splash with this hire. And to go to your point, I think this fan base, regardless of who they bring in, is going to get behind that coach. Now, there may be some, I'm getting behind you, but I want to see. Like, it might be a tenuous I'm behind you, but I think that they'll be behind him. And I think no matter who it is, and when I say no matter, I mean there's names out there, but Pat Kraft isn't hiring the folks that would not that the fan base would revolt against. Okay, like, I mean, yes, I could throw some names out there that, well, they're not going to get behind Pat Narduzzi. They're not bringing in Pat Narduzzi. Like, I'm saying, of the people that realistically Pat Kraft would go after, the fan base is going to say, all right, to whatever degree, there may be some people, they got the wrong guy. That's fine. But they're going to get behind him as far as it goes. And I think next year's ticket sales are going to be fine. Why I think the hire is critical, and that this thing, the whole operation needs to feel like it is moving very quickly, very directly forward, and getting back into playoff contention, if not next year, certainly within the next 2 or 3 years at the most. Like, that has to, so I don't think it does have to be a splash hire. I think it has to be somebody that, you know what, this guy, we listen to him, he'll have to make the pitch to the fan base too once he's introduced. But I don't think it has to be the Urban Meyer or Nick Saban. I think it can be some guy that is coming from a MAC school, or that is a coordinator right now. We've talked about Joe Brady with the Bills. I mean, there might be some fans that are not, general fans that aren't familiar. I think that whoever it is, it has to be the guy that Pat Kraft, after talking with them, after listening to the game plan, meaning game plan for the organization, for the Penn State football future, that Pat Kraft is like, yep, all right, this is the right guy. We can support this. We can get everything he wants in place to get this thing moving in the direction of winning a national title sooner rather than later. So I don't think it needs to be the Urban Meyer or Nick Saban or, that type of name brand, Lane Kiffin. That is not what this needs to be about. Now, if that a name brand comes in and says, yep, this is my vision, this is how this is set up, and Pat Kraft is comfortable with it, I'm not saying you don't go with that because of just because he's the name brand, but I really don't think that's what this hire needs to be about. I don't think making the splash is at all essential. I think making the right hire that will get this thing, because what's going to make the splash, again, if you hire Urban Meyer and this team comes out and they're 8-4 next year, and then they're 7-5 the following year, well, okay, you made the splash hire, you got folks talking, and now this thing is not going anywhere. Again, it has to be the person that you think, after meeting with them, is best suited to get this whole operation on track, that you think is going to bring in the elite talent that can develop and can handle all of the different elements and get this thing to where Penn State is legitimately competing for national titles, again, within 3 or 4 years.
That's what we want. I mean, that's what we want. I mean, our fan base is just like our society. You have the 10% who are just completely fanatical, who we're going to flip out no matter what the hell, who we're hiring. And then you have the 10 to 20% who are going to back them no matter what. And they're going to say, hey, we're all together here. We're Penn State. Let's get around and support these guys. It's the people in the middle who, got to be enthused by the hire. And I think that the names that they're saying, again, the 10% fringe on the outside who are going to flip out, you can bring back, Joe Paterno, and they're going to flip out. It's just like, they're just going to go crazy no matter what if it's not their guy. And it's just like our society. Like, the 10% of that, they're the loudest, so we have to, worry about them. And I don't think Pat's going to worry about them. I think Pat's going to worry about Penn State and Penn State football and the tradition we have at Penn State football. I have complete faith in Pat Kraft making a good decision in this. You could sit back on the inside and then sit back and just be and say, okay, well, he's going to hire Matt Rule because it's his best friend They've worked together. They've coached together in the past and this and that. Pat sees something in that works here for Penn State if he does that. If he goes out and hires, Stein from Oregon, he sees something that Stein is going to come here and win. The goal is a national title. The goal is to play for national titles. The goal is to get in the playoffs. And I think that Pat is going to do the best he can to get the best person in here. Again, I'm going to be on the fringe. I'm going to support whoever Pat picks because I got total faith in Pat Kraft. I truly, truly do. And I think he's a superior. He's so intelligent, like his analytics and all this, and getting with the James Franklin thing and results versus analytics of where we're going to go. Pat is not a dummy. He is a doctor for a reason. They don't just give doctorate degrees away. He's worked hard for that. He's a very, very smart man. So again, I don't know. I don't know who he's going to bring in. I really don't. I mean, I've gotten 8 billion phone calls. I'm sure you have too, Jeff. Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? I don't know. I have no idea. But whoever it is, I'm going to support 1,000,000%.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm not as sure. There's a lot of folks out there that have been speculating. You don't make the move with Franklin unless you know who you at least want, and you have that lined up. I'm not sure that's necessarily.
I don't believe that. I think that this team quit on James. That Northwestern game is all you need to put on television. That team was not going to play for James Franklin the rest of the year. He could not say or do anything to those guys to make them play anymore. If that's the effort that they gave against Northwestern, he had to go with that. Again, I liked James Franklin at Penn State. You liked James Franklin at Penn State. It's the Andy Reid syndrome in Philadelphia. It's ran its course. It's time to move on, both teams. It's a very amicable breakup, I guess. I mean, it hasn't been bitter on either side, I don't think. But it ran its course. It's done its time. I mean, if James goes to Florida, Florida State, Arkansas, Virginia Tech, I will root for him. I will root for him to win a national title, as long as it's not Penn State. Like, I root for Andy Reid as an Eagles fan because I've always liked Andy Reid. But Andy Reid, as the Eagles coach at that time, had to go. You could even start saying this to Mike, this Conlin syndrome, where it's like, okay, when we talk about Groundhog Day, look at the Steelers. You're a Steelers fan. You haven't won a playoff game in 10 years, but you're making the playoffs. So what are you getting over that hump? Is it time for Mike Tomlin to go away and them to make a change to, they want to win Super Bowls, not just get to the playoffs.
Yeah. We'll continue the discussion. We'll take a break here and be back, read through some more of the comments. Appreciate that. And we will continue. It is our Thursday edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show, and we are coming right back.
No one likes making trips to the gas station. Well, Lion Country Kia can help. If you're tired of going to the gas station all the time, Lion Country Kia can help with the 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid. Save now with 2.9% APR financing for up to 48 months. And get $500 Kia Finance bonus cash. There's 14 available that get 38 MPG combined. Say goodbye to all those pump visits. 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrids start at just $32,285. And be sure to check out the full Kia lineup too. And their selection of certified pre-owned Kias. Remember, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Ease that pain at the pump with a 38 MPG combined 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid from Lion Country Kia, 1334 Drivable Street off Shiloh Road behind Sam's Club, State College. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things. Great times, great food. Get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food. Get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter. and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors. People invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS, once again.
The Fox, your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7 The Fox, State College, the Goon and Ironhead.
And we continue, and we are back on the air. Thank you for letting us know. I think pretty much the entire show's been back on. Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox on the airwaves as well as online. So thanks for letting us know about that. Fan base expecting 8-4 at the worst next year, and that will be an issue. Welcome to big time college football. Let's start there, Goon, because I do think whoever it is, expectations are going to be high right out of the gate. And over the years, I've always been a big, you got to give at least 5 years to a coach. It's just not the era we're in. And you're not making the move Pat Kraft did with James Franklin, with the idea that maybe by year 6 with the new guy, we could get back into the national title conversation. That's not why you're making that move. Because if that's the case, then you don't make the move, because James Franklin may be able to get that turned around next year to where you're back to another 10-win season, which again, Penn State fans are telling you isn't good enough. So you're making this move. Yeah, I would agree. 8-4 would be the floor of what would be acceptable next year. And, certainly by year 2, it needs to be back to a 10-win season. And by year 3, I think you've got to at least be knocking on the door, if not in the Final Four. And that may not be fair. It might not even be realistic. I don't know. We've got to wait and see how everything plays out. But again, that's the world we're in, and it's certainly the world that Penn State is telling you it now is in terms of what it expects with Pat Kraft at the helm as AD.
Yeah, I saw a report yesterday that they were going through the schedule for Penn State next year. We don't have Oregon, we don't have Ohio State, I don't believe. We have Michigan as a big game on there. We're at Washington as one of the bigger games.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, I think that Washington game could be huge next year. I think Washington is coming on here, but
it's not that bare of a schedule, to be honest with you. I mean, we ducked 2 or 3 of the big cats next year, so the person coming in is going to be held to the Curt Cignetti the theory that Curt Cignetti came to Indiana and made Indiana from the bottom of the Big Ten to a national title contender in 1 year. Okay, do you know how many people that Curt Cignetti bought with him from JMU who had won? I believe they were playing. Maybe they had won a national title that year. I don't know. They were really, really freaking good. And he bought all those players in, and he bought all these transfers in because Indiana had made this huge commitment monetarily to the football team, and he was the guy that, he seems to be the guy that changed everything. But, those things just don't happen with coaches. You need to have the talent. You got to coach up these guys, and you got to get the guys here. So who comes here? Who do they bring? Who do we lose? It's just bizarre, and nothing that you and I have ever witnessed, never, ever witnessed here. And there's probably never really been witnessed at a lot of places. They're going to go in there and, say, I hate just bringing names up. Say they hire Matt Rule. Does Matt Rule bring in, Rayolo? Does he bring in the receivers? Does he bring in 3 offensive linemen? The whole linebacking core, the defensive back? I don't know. I really don't know none of us know what's going to happen with who we hire. No one knows if we hire, Lane Kiffin, does he bring his quarterback and his wide receivers? And does that change the facet of Penn State right then and there? I mean, do we change the way that Penn State looks? I mean, we have no idea what's going to happen. But I know we have a very favorable schedule next year that might be enticing to some people who are looking at this job.
Yeah, again, the hire is just going to be the fascinating piece to this, and then once the hire is made, you can start to assess and analyze and all of that. And again, no matter who it is, there's going to be a faction, as you said, Goon, that it's like, oh, this is they blew it. But I think most people, no matter who it is, it's going to be like, all right, I'm behind them. Presumably, they'll tell you that, yep, they're here to win national championships, do it the right way. I mean, they're not going to hire somebody that isn't going to have that as the message. And so fans are going to get behind that message, and then you're going to have to go out and produce, and it's going to have to be in pretty short order. Again, not necessarily the first year, but you better be looking like by the end of year 1 that this thing is heading in that direction. And if year 2 you're not at least knocking on the door, again, it's going to be a very unsettled fan base. And again, I'm not even arguing whether that's right or wrong. I'm just telling you that's the reality. And it's not going to be just the fan base.
I go back to the fan base. Do you think that it's just we're listening and the 10% crazies are the ones making the most noise? Is that what we're listening to? I mean, I don't think we have that demanding of a fan base. I think it's maybe I should be more accurately saying the administration, because you're not making this move if you're Pat Kraft with the I sure hope within 6 or 7 years this next guy can get us back in. Those days are long gone, buddy.
Yeah, it may be more accurately. I mean, yes, it is a noisy segment of the fan base. Maybe more accurately is the administration is telling you this next coach needs to win big quickly. How quickly? Again, I would say within 4 years, certainly. I think within 3 years, you've got to at least be in the playoffs and battling. And probably within the first 2 years, Goon, to make this thing feel like it was the right move, you've got to be winning at least 8 games somewhere in those first 2 years where people are like, wow, didn't see that one coming. Because if you're not winning one of those games, again, then what was this really ultimately about? Again, that's a tough spot for anybody to be in. Now, I think no matter who they bring in, it's going to be somebody with the confidence. Well, yeah, I'm going to be the guy. I can do that. You need that confidence in the coaching profession to allow yourself to have a chance at that type of success. Mark writes, I don't know if it was much better last year other than Warren. Same scenario offensively of getting a good first down, then hurry up into a running play over the middle. I believe the wide receivers are better this year, but I always believe Katron was better than Singleton, but we always bent over backwards to feed Nick. And for some reason, as the NIL money gone to these kids' heads, new coach, Jeff, if this team finishes the season 6-6, and this team somewhat turns it around, why not? Well, I mean, they're going to have a new coach. No to Matt Rule. I'd rather have Art Briles' son, Ricky Ronnie. He still runs Moorhead offense, or Gary Peterson. Again, if Matt Rule, I think there are not many people that I think are going to electrify the fan base just with the who they hire. And because Matt Rule now coming off the Minnesota loss, like all of a sudden the luster is gone there. Again, it's going to be whoever it is. I think you just need to be patient with. I would be okay. I am just speaking for myself. I'd be okay with if it's Matt Rule, because for it to be Matt Rule, they would have had the conversation, Pat Kraft and Matt, about the expectations and what is needed here. I think, Matt, I also think we do get too caught up on the credentials to this point. Matt Rule, and I think, listen, I think James Franklin will take lessons learned here at Penn State with him to wherever he goes, and I think he'll be a better coach as a result of everything that has transpired, including this season at Penn State. I mean, if you're a coach or an athlete, right, you need to be taking your experiences and learning from them. So do I think Matt Rule has learned from his experiences here, including at Nebraska? Yeah, and I think Matt Rule could win a national title at Nebraska or at Penn State? Yes, I think that is entirely possible. I think, again, you got to see how everything comes together, or if everything comes together. But I know there's a segment out there, Shane, a Matt Rule hire would be nepotism. I think Matt Rule is a really good coach. Whether or not he's the one to get Penn State a national title, which clearly now is the expectation, I don't know. But I don't think there's anybody, Urban Meyer, Nick Saban included, that it's like, well, all right, that guy guarantees you that you're going to get a national title. That we're expecting a guarantee where there just is no guarantee here, is my read on it. Seems like Penn State needs an X's and O's head coach, since they seem to never find OCs that can do the job effectively. Besides Jomo's years with the PSU brand established, winning will bring better recruits in. Then John writes, Penn State should be calling Urban Meyer, but I think they hire Fran Brown. Kendall Briles is the TCU offensive coordinator and assistant head coach. Great career so far. And yeah, don't blame the the son for the father's sins, which were pretty substantial in Art Briles' case, I would suggest. But
I got to say, Jeff, looking at Rule at Nebraska, and I'm not endorsing Matt either way, yes or no. I mean, would I be happy? Yes. Would I be upset? No. I mean, it is what it is. But Nebraska was in complete shambles. Temple and Baylor were in complete shambles. We know that. Nebraska is not what it was, 10, 15 years ago. Yeah. They had a 10-year run. I mean, it has been bad at Nebraska for the last 10 years. I mean, bad. And he has brought those guys back to where their reputation is getting there, but it's in his third year. They had a horrible loss last week, the sixth time in a row they lost to Minnesota. But whoever takes this Penn State job, we are in a better situation than Nebraska was 3 years ago when Matt took that job. Does that sound right? I mean,
for sure.
We are not in a bad situation here. We have unbelievable facilities. They're getting completely upgraded. I mean, whoever comes here, they're going to walk in. It's almost like a turnkey operation. You know what I mean? They're going to bring their people, and they're going to plug their people in here and there, staff-wise and all of that. But we are not in shambles. I mean, we may think we are in shambles because of the way the team is playing right now, but our facilities, our university, our future, everything is much, much better than those other three schools that Matt was at.
Not even, yes, by miles. And listen, I do think Pat Kraft is going to pick the guy that he truly feels is the best candidate and has the best vision and can execute that vision the best. I will say I do think there is some – I think I like the history there between Matt Rule and Pat Kraft. Let me put it that way, because I do think they know how each other operates and what each other is thinking. And so – yeah, I do think if Matt Rule were the hire, and I think Matt Rule makes a lot of sense on a whole number of fronts, but again, I don't think you hire him just because, well, I know him and we had some good times together back at Temple. That's not what this is about. But I do think having that experience, having seen, if Matt Rule is hired, I guess my point would be, I would have even more confidence, and I'd have confidence in him regardless. But to me, that is Pat Kraft telling you, listen, I saw in him when I was at Temple the guy that can go win a national championship with the resources we have here. That is what Pat Kraft is telling you with whoever the hire is. But if it is Matt Rule in particular, he's telling you he's seen enough up close and personal to know that and have confidence that this is the guy that can get it done here.
Yes.
I think the fact that Matt has coached in as many different places as he has now, and therefore has connections, certainly in Pennsylvania, but now all throughout the country, all of the contacts that he has had and coaches that he can pull from all of it. I think there's a lot to like there. I know folks are, man, we are just really, what have you done for me? And all of a sudden, because of that loss to Minnesota, I'm seeing fans, wow, no, you can't hire him now. Well, yeah, you can, and you can have still big picture stuff and recognize that, yeah, you know what, Minnesota in that game, had a great game plan, executed it, and that Matt, while I think he is getting Nebraska on the right track, still has a ways to go to get Nebraska to where it could contend for a Big Ten or certainly national title. Yeah. I think the fact that he has them heading in the right direction is impressive, and I do think that if he is the guy that ultimately is hired, I just think you need to be patient and see how this thing. Don't be so quick to say, well, he hasn't had, he hasn't had that type of sustained success, largely because of where he has been previously. Yeah. And I think, with the resources and with the energy committed to providing him with what he wants and what he would need to get this thing to where everybody wants to see it. I'd be perfectly fine, more than fine with Matt Rule if he ultimately is the hire. Again,
I'm 100% in Pat Kraft's corner. I mean, Pat has never done anything to make me say, what the hell is he thinking? So look at it like this. If it is Matt Rule, he had James Franklin, and he could pick Matt Rule. He obviously thinks that Matt Rule can take us to the next level, that James was not getting us to that next level. He has seen both of those guys front and center, close, right next to. He coached, he was their boss, and he obviously feels that Matt, if it is Matt, I don't care who it is, he obviously feels that person can get us to the national title level that all of us want before Franklin could have done that. And, again, I'm going back. I know I repeat myself a lot, Head, and I apologize, but go back to Andy Reid. Again, to Philadelphia. It was done. It was stagnant. It was over. James is going to go get another job. He's going to build another program. He might win a national title, and I would be happy with that. It just wasn't happening here. That's the easiest way I can explain it, and that's how I'm thinking about it. And like I said, Pat Kraft can go out, hire whoever he wants, and he's going to have my 100%. I'm going to be satisfied with 100% of what he does, with who he picks, because I have faith in him and I have trusted him. The man is a winner. He wants to win. He wants to win more than anybody. So he is not going to go out there and hire somebody who he thinks can get it done in 3 or 4 years. No, he's going to want it done next year. He's going to want it done the year after that. So I'm all on board with what Pat wants to do. And if it's Matt, it's Matt. If it's Pat Fitzgerald, it's Pat Fitzgerald. It's Urban Meyer, it's Urban Meyer. Nick Saban, Signetti, I don't care. Bring whoever on. I got their back no matter what.
Yeah, Eli Drinkwitz, I think, is also very intriguing, and I think if it is a head coach that Penn State brings in, you almost assume that at least some of those guys, some of the significant contributors, are going to follow that coach to Penn State. So it's not going to be starting from scratch. And then obviously you're going to be hitting the transfer portal. I think, not knowing who the coach is, it's hard to make any kind of definitive or declarative statement. But my strong suspicion is that Terry Smith is part of this program next year. One way or another, Terry Smith is still on this coaching staff or in some role with this program. And my guess is, and this is purely a guess, but going back to the recruiting part earlier, I think Terry Smith has to be having the ability via Pat Kraft to go tell recruits, listen, this is what I know about what our situation is going to be next year. I'm going to be involved. Or like you can't, I don't see how Terry Smith can go into a recruit's home and say, yep, I have absolutely no idea what the staff is going to look like or anything about it next year. But man, please stay committed to us. So to me, there has to be some sort of stability that has been promised. And again, I don't, maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't see how you can have Terry Smith out recruiting for your program without some assurance that he's, again, maybe not even directly on the coaching staff, but involved in the program next year. And maybe it is on the coaching staff. Again, with the staffs being constructed the way they are now, somebody can bring in their entire staff except, hey, we have one spot here that you need to be working with this guy. And I just have to believe with Terry's track record, whoever comes in is going to be more than okay with having a Terry Smith on his staff and involved with his program. And maybe it's more than Terry Smith. Who knows? But I just think you have to have some sort of stability there for the transition, and that would make sense. Eli Drinkwitz, Jeff Brom is another one. I'd be more than okay with Jeff Brom. That is one that just feels really unlikely to me, Goon, because I think he is really happy at Louisville. That is, that's where he's from as a kiddo. It's where he went to school. It just feels like, and I think Louisville would up the ante if need be. And it actually sounds like there's conversations already occurring to get his salary upped there to keep him in Louisville. Again, I'm certainly worth the conversation. And if you get him, I'd be very happy because, yeah, he is. That guy does know what he's doing with offenses. There's no question about that. Signetti proves what the right coaching hire does. Indiana is historically all-time bad, and he turned them around in year one. Yes, and also there were some unique circumstances to that where, and certainly, you have to give Signetti all the credit in the world. Also, he brought some really good players with him from James Madison, and I know on the surface people may, okay, you're bringing James Madison players with you, and that's what was the missing recipe to being a national title contender. Well, as it turns out, and listen, they had a big cash infusion there also within the program. It's night and day the way that football program is being supported now as well. So, but yeah, to your point, it certainly can be turned around very, very quickly, and the turnaround, even with what Penn State is doing this year, is significantly less substantial in terms of what's needed to get Penn State into title contention than what Indiana had. So, yeah, there's reason to be optimistic, no matter who the coach is, that this thing can, in fact, happen quickly. Winning a national title, though, again, is the clear objective here, and that is just a really tall order. I don't care who you are. It's a tall order for Ohio State, for Georgia, for Alabama, for Indiana. I mean, all of these teams. Like, it is hard to go win a national title, and that is very clearly the objective. And if it is not achieved, I would say within those first 5 years, Goon, this is going to be looked at as they missed on this hire, because that is what Penn State is seeking here. It is a national title, and in this world of college football, you're seeking that within a 5-year period, and that might be going a little long. Take a break here, and we will be back with a final segment on our Thursday edition. It is the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show here on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox.
No one likes making trips to the gas station. Well, Lion Country Kia can help. If you're tired of going to the gas station all the time, Lion Country Kia can help with the 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid. Save now with 2.9% APR financing for up to 48 months. And get $500 Kia Finance bonus cash. There's 14 available that get 38 MPG combined. Say goodbye to all those pump visits. 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrids start at just $32,285. And be sure to check out the full Kia lineup too. And their selection of certified pre-owned Kias. Remember, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Ease that pain at the pump with a 38 MPG combined 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid from Lion Country Kia, 1334 Drivable Street off Shiloh Road behind Sam's Club, State College.
Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things. Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors. People invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS, once again.
The Fox, your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7 The Fox State College. The Goon and Ironhead.
And a lot of interesting games this weekend in college football. Both Penn State and Ohio State have bye weeks, so both teams will have the extra week of rest and preparation heading into the noon kickoff in Columbus on November 1st, a week from Saturday. But let's start, Goon, with the Penn State coaching watch in full effect here. There are some games that Penn State fans will be certainly keeping an eye on, including, Nebraska and Northwestern now. If Matt Rule is ultimately going to be the next coach at Penn State, you certainly need to see Nebraska win this game over Northwestern. You can already hear Penn State fans gnashing their teeth over the Minnesota loss. If you follow that up, you just got rid of James Franklin on the heels of a loss to Northwestern. You're not wanting the guy you're bringing in to be coming off such a loss during this season as well. I think Nebraska will be fine there, by the way, but no question, Northwestern's been playing better football. Along those lines, I know it's not a game that's going to get a lot of national intrigue ahead of time, but I am really curious to see how UCLA does at Indiana here on Saturday. Indiana, to its credit, has handled all of the attention starting from last year and right through this year. You keep thinking, man, maybe that they're going to start getting too full of themselves, and it seems like Kirk Cignetti makes sure that does not occur with his team. But listen, UCLA has been playing much better. Their line play, I keep going back. I keep thinking about the UCLA beat reporter that was going into that Penn State game was just saying how god awful their line play had been, and that's going to be a long, hard rebuild for whoever the head coach ultimately is there. And then all of a sudden they go out and they push Penn State around, and really they have looked very good. I am curious to see how UCLA fares against Indiana if that offense in particular can put up some points against the Hoosiers here on Saturday. That to me is just really intriguing.
Very. I mean, they beat Sparty right after us, and I believe they haven't lost since they beat us, right? UCLA.
Correct. They have not.
Which is just crazy, just insane. Because it's like we get their best effort, we bring the best out of them, and then with the Northwestern, the same thing. They played their best game of the year against us, and then. Iowa last week. I mean, I think, again, I go back to the Iowa and Ohio State games versus Wisconsin. And I think Iowa is a lot better than people are giving them credit for. I really, really, truly do. Sorry.
We'll see. I'll be curious to see how Iowa fares the rest of the year, too. I think they're the same. I think they're a good, solid team. I don't think they're anything all that special. Now they'll have that Minnesota's this week, right? Am I thinking?
I believe so.
Yeah. So Minnesota's there, and Minnesota just ran roughshod over Nebraska, as we've been talking about. So I will. That'll be interesting to see if Minnesota can get its running game going against that Iowa defense and how Iowa responds. Again, they're feeling very good. Do they get maybe a little too high coming off of the Penn State victory and feeling too good? And could that be a dangerous spot? Now, that's a rivalry game, and I think there's enough history there that the likelihood of a letdown, I think, is pretty small for Iowa in that one. But yeah, some intrigue surrounding that game as well. The other one, Matt Campbell keeps getting mentioned, Goon, as well as a possibility here at Penn State. And Iowa State has a big home game against BYU, which is coming off its best win of the season. BYU up to 11th in the AP rankings this week. So that'll be one of the 3:30 games on Saturday. And again, if you're on the coach watch here for Penn State, Matt Campbell's name and a team you're keeping an eye on. And then Eli Dinkwitz has Missouri is at Vanderbilt, which is the hot story. Vanderbilt now top 10 team going into that one. So can Bo Pribula and can they go on the road and steal a big one here now in the SEC? So that becomes, and this is the other thing, and I think it's just kind of human nature, but I think there's going to be a substantial portion of the Penn State fans, Goon, that it's like, well, Missouri won here. We want that coach. Matt Rule lost there. We don't want him. Matt Campbell, oh, no, they lost to BYU. I'm not sure we really want we're just going to, and again, it's just the nature of the business, I guess, but it is going to be funny to watch people if Missouri goes out and looks great and gets a big win over Vanderbilt. Oh, that's the guy we have to get. If Nebraska responds and they win by 5 touchdowns over Northwestern, oh, that's the way this needs to look. It's going to be fun to kind of watch that, but also, yeah, you're going to be keeping an eye. How would that guy look roaming the Penn State sideline? So there's going to be a lot of games to keep an eye on this weekend in that Penn State coaching search. And then there's just some great games out there as well. I think the way this season is unfolding, Goon, it just feels like there's going to be some real surprises still in terms of who's in the playoffs and who's out. Texas is playing for its playoff life now the rest of the way. Texas A&M at the moment feels like I was going to say they feel like they're a shoe-in. That's probably not quite accurate, but I think most people feel pretty good about Texas A&M's chances, certainly of being in the playoffs. But you look at their schedule down the stretch here, Goon, I think it is far from a given. I mean, I'm certainly not going to be surprised if Texas A&M is there, but I don't think it's actually going to be that shocking if this thing goes off the tracks just enough for them to not be in the playoffs. And Illinois at Washington, I think, is an intriguing game in the Big Ten this weekend to see kind of how both of those teams are kind of settling into things now as we hit the stretch run. I don't know. There's some intriguing games, and then there's certainly some dogs too, as there always seems to be as you hit the stretch run now, the second half of the season in college football. But I think there's some real intrigue in the Big Ten with some of these matchups that Penn State and Ohio State can sit back and watch this weekend.
Yeah, and let's go back to our coaching search, and that is that like, okay, Drinkowitz and Campbell, do they have? I don't know. I have not researched either of them. Do they have Pennsylvania roots? Do they have Northeast roots, Mid-Atlantic roots? Have they worked here, coached here, lived here, grew up here? I don't know, because you really need to have an understanding. Like a guy like Lane Kiffin, I don't think could work at Penn State because he is not really recruited the New York, New Jersey, Ohio, Maryland, West Virginia swath that we have dominated for 100 years. I know that he has recruited there.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's peeked in there and this and that, but does he understand the kid? Do they have a reputation or a rapport with a lot of the coaches? Where a guy like a Matt Rule, who's coached here in this area, grew up in Pennsylvania, obviously State College. Does Drinkowitz have any kind of Pennsylvania roots? That type of thing, because I think that plays a lot into it. Also, knowing what the kind of kid that is a Penn State kid. And I'm sorry I jumped over on you on the Big Ten games this week, but I was just thinking about all that, how much that goes into it. I mean, you bring it like, you can't bring a Texas guy into Penn State and think that he's going to be able to just go out and just kill the recruiting areas that we have, we have dominated for 100 years. It has to play into it.
Yes and no, because here's the thing, Goon. I actually think you can do that, and you can bring a Lane Kiffin in because of the name brand, but also because, and this is where, again, Pat Kraft is going to be sorting through a lot, but I have to believe a big part of the discussion again, is what is the vision and how do you plan to go about implementing the vision? So let's just say it is a Lane Kiffin, just for the fun of it. What I think Lane Kiffin, if I'm Lane Kiffin, and I want this job, what I'm telling Pat Kraft is, listen, I can go get recruits from all over the nation. I look at my track record, and with Terry Smith already here, and I'm going to have him, we're going to keep him right there as the head assistant. Like, he has the footprint here, and then so the two of us working together, and then we're going to bring in whoever he's going to bring in as the coordinators, and they can track this land out in the Midwest, and we're going to get this guy going heavy in the South. And so while initially I also think, just as a whole now, the recruiting game has changed to where no matter where you're at, it is a national recruiting scene now. And we've seen different teams, we've seen schools up north, Michigan, go into Florida and regularly pluck out guys from Florida. We've seen Texas schools go into, so I think you can pluck your kids from wherever and get them to fit in with your program. And depending on, again, how you structure things with your staff and your recruiting coordinator, and that's the other thing, the staffs are so big now, and there's so many different parts to it. So you have your recruiting coordinator, obviously your coaching staff, but now you also, do you have the right guy in as the general manager? Do you have the all of the pieces that come into play? So I'm not sure it is as critical as it once was, that, hey, man, we need somebody that really does know, quote unquote, this recruiting scene and this. You still want to have the footprint here. Obviously, it's going to be easier to get guys in Pennsylvania to come to Penn State than it is from Florida or California or whatever. But the era we're in, it's the kids are going to follow big name coaches, big name programs, no matter where they're at, no matter where they're from.
But you're still going to keep our kids at home.
Yes and no. You need to keep a percentage of them for sure. But if you're and I'll tell you, I mean, the wrestling program is what has really kind of changed my perspective on this, because that was the big knock, right, on Troy Sunderland, is, oh man, too many of these good kids, the Jordan Olivers and these guys are getting away, and they're going to Oklahoma State, they're going to Iowa, and we need somebody that's going to change that. Well, that isn't. Cale came in and that didn't change. Spencer Lee went to Iowa. Michael Kemmerer went to Iowa. Penn State's getting their fair share of kids too, Zane Rutherford and Jason Nolf. I mean, but what changed wasn't the number of top-level Pennsylvania kids that were coming to Penn State. What changed was the elite athletes from Texas, Bo Nickel, from Ohio, David Taylor, from California, the Nevilles. Penn State went out and got the best from everywhere around the country. So, yeah, you don't want to see, I mean, Penn State can't just not recruit Pennsylvania or the surrounding states, but do they need to do a better job of keeping it? Well, no, not if they're getting one or two of the top guys out of Florida, one or two of the top guys out of Texas, one or two. Again, yes, you can't vacate it, but do they need to do better than what they've been doing in Pennsylvania? I would argue no. They could do worse in terms of numbers and be in much better shape as a program if they're bringing in a 5-star quarterback from Tennessee, a 5-star offensive lineman from Wisconsin, a 5-star, you know what I mean? If you're going out and getting elite talent from elsewhere, you need to have a footprint here, obviously. No, I'm not suggesting you just drop that, but I don't know that in this era of college football that it is quite as imperative. It doesn't matter where you're getting the elite kids from. It matters that you are getting the elite kids.
Maybe I'm just saying I just want kids who are playing. I want guys on my team that playing for Penn State means something. That's where I'm going with it. And I feel that's my thing. But has that changed? Yeah, like a lot of other things in college football has changed. I mean, you're just going to go to the highest bidder. You're not going to go to the college that you fit best at sometimes. Some guys are going to go to school that they get the most money at. So, yeah, I just want Pennsylvania kids, Jersey kids, New York, Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, Ohio, who just they understand Penn State football and they would kill and they would maim people to play for Penn State football. And they won that means something. It seems like when you go national, it doesn't mean as much. And I'm not saying we don't go out and recruit speed from the South and bring those guys up north, but I always do believe you still have to have the base of your team still has to be proud and love the fact that they play for Penn State.
I agree with that. I also do think, again, in this era, that you can have that love for Penn State and be from Florida or from Texas. I get what you're saying, and I agree with it. But I also think because of again, you can watch all of these games on TV. When we were growing up, I mean, you only saw a couple of games a week. Yeah. And so now everybody, I mean, you can be living in California and watch every Penn State game and know. And same thing, I mean, you can be in Pennsylvania and fall in love with USC because you're seeing all of their games every week. So I do think you need that love for the school. I just think that love can be from a greater distance now than what it once was, which is not to say that you can have a roster devoid of Pennsylvania or the neighboring states talent. But I'm just not sure it's as critical as I think it once was. All right. That's going to wrap things up. Folks, have a great weekend. World Series starts tomorrow night. Final week of high school football for the regular season already, which is just nuts. We're into postseason play already in a bunch of the high school sports. So get out and enjoy all of the sports this weekend. And the Dear Goon and I will be back on Tuesday with a lot more sports discussion. Enjoy the weekend. Until Tuesday, be both good and safe.
No one likes making trips to the gas station. Well, Lion Country Kia can help. If you're tired of going to the gas station all the time, Lion Country Kia can help with the 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid. Save now with 2.9% APR financing for up to 48 months. And get $500 Kia Finance bonus cash. There's 14 available that get 38 MPG combined. Say goodbye to all those pump visits. 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrids start at just $32,285. And be sure to check out the full Kia lineup too. And their selection of certified pre-owned Kias. is. Remember, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Ease that pain at the pump with a 38 MPG combined 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid from Lion Country Kia, 1334 Drivable Street off Shiloh Road behind Sam's Club, State College.
Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors. People invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXX, once again.
The Fox, your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7 The Fox State College. The Goon